On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks get a win in preseason, and we saw exactly what Cooper Flagg is going to be at the next level, a different kind of star. We'll talk about that and more today. It's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
On 5.
Explain themselves.
All these changes, I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs. Great, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You're Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day, where we let it ride. Let it ride, baby. For the preseason? We're letting it ride for the preseason?
Of course we are.
That's right, because we're back, baby. Thanks for being an everyday, making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day, making Locked On Sports Podcast Network the #1 podcast network out there. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member, covered the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the Flag Fiend, the one we're thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
We got to watch Cooper Flagg play basketball in an official Dallas Mavericks jersey. It was fun. It was in Fort Worth. It was at Dickies Arena. Sean Heath, I will hear him in my brain for
Oh my God.
years of my life.
Forever. It was so loud.
The
That was
decibel
maybe the loudest
level,
thing I've ever heard.
yeah, was insane. Got to meet some Locked On Mavs listeners, so shout out to you guys. Man, it's always fun. Meeting you guys that support the show and supported the show for so long. And I was just telling my wife a little bit ago, I was like, this is crazy. This is my 10th year covering this team, 9 years credentialed, and yeah, it's just wild, man. It's just it's cool. It's been a fun ride, and it's another season. Let's do this.
We've been around the block, and guess what? We're gonna circle it again because we're not done doing this. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about D'Angelo Russell's passing impact. I thought that was another thing that we got to see firsthand that we'll talk about. Max Christie as well. You talked to him afterwards, and I thought he had a really good impact on this game. And we'll talk about everything we learned about the rotation. I don't know as much, but we did learn some things. We'll talk about that. Well, let's start here, Isaac Harris. Cooper Flagg had his debut, 10 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, and a block. Hit 2 threes, hit 2 free throws. And like I said at the beginning, we saw the Cooper Flagg experience in this game. Yes, the Mavs were playing against the Thunder's third-string guys. Jalen Williams and Kaysen Wallace are probably the only guys that are going to be in the rotation. Maybe Isaiah Joe, too. The only ones that are going to be in the Thunder's rotation. Everybody else, there's names that nobody knows. Like, I don't even know do the Thunder people know that some of these guys are on the team?
I've seen some of the names they had out there for the first time in my life. I'm like, you created that in 2K. That was a chat GPT. Like, give me a player name to use for my creative player.
Yeah, 2 of their players fouled out, and both of those players I had not heard of much before tonight. I had heard of Jason Gortman, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I had heard of Jazz. He was on the Mavericks last year.
Love that guy.
But we saw the Cooper Flagg experience, even against the Thunder's third string, whatever you want to say. We saw Cooper Flagg with great passing instincts, great playmaking, great vision. Saw him take advantage of some of the attention that was going to be given to him. And that's something I think that is huge, something the Mavs will be able to take advantage of. He's got to be able to hit cutters. The Mavs want more cutters. They want more off-ball action and movement in this new offense. He was able to hit those guys for those 3 assists. I thought they were all great passes and great moments. We saw him hit 2 pull-up threes, getting his own shot. I think he's got a little bit of ways to go there when it comes to creating his own shot, but you're going to see him be able to get to the rim like he did. He had a coast-to-coast moment where he got to the rim, hit 2 pull-up threes, got fouled, and got to the free throw line. And then you saw some defense, saw a block against the backboard, saw some rebounds. Like, we saw the whole Cooper Flagg experience in this game.
We did. I mean, everything you talk about with Cooper Flagg before the draft was he's one of the most all-around, best all-around prospects you've ever seen come into the league. And you got everything in this game. It's not he plays the first half. Kid says pregame, hey, AD's going to play around 17 minutes. Cooper's going to play in the first half. So you get a good first half of them playing together. But yeah, one of the first plays of the game for Dallas to score on was the Cooper, Kaysen Wallace gets to the bucket on that right side, and he probably thinks he just got that layup on the rook, and Cooper smacks it off the backboard. They come down, D'Lo oop to AD dunk, and it's just this is some fun Mavs basketball, and you get to see the offense on like kind of full display tonight. You didn't see much ISO ball and dissecting defenses stuff, and But to go back to Cooper said post game, that's a fun brand of basketball to play.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to hear from a guy like Cooper, your number 1 overall pick. And something I thought was interesting is I asked him about playing with 2 bigs because I followed him a decent amount, and I'm like, unless there was some early time in late middle school
or some AAU team, it was just like a random.
Yeah, that he played with 2 bigs. Obviously at Duke, he played with Malawach, with Phoenix and stuff. And so I was like, hey, what's it like playing with those 2 bigs since you probably haven't got to do it much? And he was like, hey, like you said, I haven't gotten to do this. And he said, it's interesting. He's like, he dropped that word. He says that it's something he's not used to, obviously, but he's like, it's expanding my game. And I thought it was interesting. He's like, AD's kind of like another guard out there. So it's almost like it's not 2 bigs. They can both handle the ball and everything. And of course, he praised the size of being able to have him at the 3. He's played the 4 and even the 5 a lot of his life, being so big. And now he's playing the 3 and at some points the 2. And just what that does for his game defensively is, it's cool. He seemed like he had a lot of fun out there.
What was that one lineup? I nudged you next to me and I was like, this is the Flagg at point guard lineup. It was Flagg, Hardy, Klay Thompson, PJ, and Dwight Powell out there. I was like, here's Flagg. Now we're seeing Flagg at the point guard. I don't think we saw very much of that, like him bringing up the ball or initiating offense that much in this game. But we saw all kinds of different things from Flagg. The passing I want to go back to because I thought that was something that stood out. That's such a great indicator of IQ too, to be able to see things before they happen, to be able to hit guys. Like he hit PJ on this cut, and it was such a precise pass that just needed to be right on the money. It was like a quarterback. It was like Dak Prescott out there. We can use that as
MVP Dak, Cowboys, baby.
Yeah, MVP. They're playing well right now. And like he had to be able to hit him like right on target, and I thought that was just an impressive play. The 2 pull-up threes too, like that was a big question mark we had going into the season. Is will the 3-point percentage translate from college to the NBA? Because the question was, could he even shoot the 3 going into college? Like that was a big question mark. He answered it, and so to hit 2 of those, I thought was huge. The shot doesn't look pretty. You saw it in person. You saw it in person today, but it's gonna go down because he's consistent with it.
I mean, those were some screens that. The big came up to him, set a screen, and him just kind of dribble into that 3 and just drained it. That was awesome to watch that from him. The passing, he hit Lively underneath for an amazing pass with that, but he didn't force anything. Like that's the thing of he's freaking 18.
Yeah.
He didn't force anything out there. Number 1 pick. He's playing with these other vets. The last time we saw him play basketball was in summer league. And when every bit of attention was all on him, defensively, everything. And now he steps on the floor and he's with AD and Klay Thompson and D-Live and D-Lo. And he didn't force things early on, didn't force shots. He was making the right pass, swinging the ball, hit Klay in the corner there. Like he was just making all the right reads. And that's the part that I was like so impressed. He played so mature in the first game, and like you said, this was like the minor league C team for OKC. All right. So, and I'm not even I haven't pulled up a box score one time for this game. Didn't in the middle of the game. Well, I did one time in the middle of the game, and then at the end of it,
I haven't pulled one up either.
Just because it's hard to pull any, I'm not pulling any plus minus numbers off this game. It's so weird. OKC barely played anyone. What?
Flagg was a +8.
Oh, let's go. I thought it was, they obviously try to pressure him with Case and Wallace at times. And I was like, oh, I want this all the time. Cause he needs experience like that. He had a nice pass over the top of Case and Wallace at one point. He tried to do a fadeaway on Wallace. That was, he missed, but one thing he said post game that I'm curious on your takeaway from that I didn't tweet it out because I was like, oh, people will just be like, oh, this isn't good, is I think it was Noah who asked him about D'Lo and the impact on just D'Lo on him and playing with D'Lo and stuff. And Cooper kind of halfway raged. I mean, not raged. He raged about it.
Oh my God, I hate this guy.
He kind of raved about him and was just he says he's been an incredible influence on me. and talked about and that was the thing. I was like,
oh,
somebody. But he talked about
would have been like him like filming all the Mavs teammates and like.
But and he talks about his leadership, how he's helped him, dissect different things on defensively, on offense. He talked about playing alongside D'Lo, just like helping him bring the ball up at some points, and both of them attacking and setting up the offense. And he could have just had a simple answer to that, but he expanded on it a lot about just D'Lo's mentality and his leadership. And I thought that was interesting, and been very vocal about D'Lo's fit in Dallas, working out and being good this year. And I know it's one game, but feel good about it right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about D'Lo and his impact, because I thought it was great. One more thing with Cooper Flagg though.
One more thing.
He did force one shot, and he did force one moment, and it was when he was posting up Case and Wallace on the left side.
Oh yeah.
And he passes the ball out to Anthony Davis. Cooper Flagg makes the right play, and then Anthony Davis gives the ball back to him and is like, "No, you go at this guy. You go post him up. Like you go to."
Don't make me take my glasses off.
Right. He's like, "Don't make me turn this around." What did you think about that moment? Because to me, I looked at it and it was like, it was an Anthony Davis empowering Cooper Flagg. Hey, you've got this smaller guy on you. Then it was Cooper Flagg trying to get position on Case and Wallace. Case and Wallace is smaller, so he's gonna be able to push up on him, and it's hard to back somebody down when they're able to like push up on you like that. And but I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it was cool that Anthony Davis was trying to empower Cooper Flagg in that moment. And then when AD passes it back to him, Case and Wallace bats it away. He goes out of bounds, and they do something else after the out of bounds. But I just thought that was an interesting play.
He eventually gets a post up on Wallace later on, takes a fadeaway, misses it. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that from AD, and he's just like, no, take advantage of the mismatch. You are 6'9", 6'10", like do this thing. So yeah, it was cool.
Coming up, D'Angelo Russell had a good impact on this game, has had an impact on Cooper Flagg apparently, but had an impact on this game as well. We'll tell you exactly what that is and what he can bring coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props, odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. You should have taken the Mavs in this one. They're a 3.5-point favorite against this team.
Oh my gosh!
Probably should have been more. Was it more than that? I texted it to the text line this morning. What did it end up being?
If you're betting on preseason, there's a phone number that we can give you that call in.
You can go check that and so many more things over on, it was Mavs 3.5. You can go check that out. You should have taken that because the Mavs won by way more than that. But you can go check out all kinds of other things. And if you're a new customer, you bet $5 and you win, you get $300 in bonus bets right now. So go check that out on FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the app or find the website wherever you get websites. Why did I say it like that? Go check out FanDuel. Again, take advantage of the deal right now. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Please gamble responsibly.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. We appreciate you for checking out the show. Check our text line. There's a QR code where you can get a link to get to that, and you can text us. We'll send texts all throughout the game. We were sending notes. We were sending post-game stuff. It was great. Great stuff there all the time. And we're talking about the Mavs preseason game. I haven't said the final score because it doesn't matter. I don't care about it. You can go Google it if you want to. But we talked about Cooper Flagg, and Cooper Flagg was raving about D'Angelo Russell after the game. And I'm going to be raving about D'Angelo Russell too, because his passing was everything that we expected it to be. You asked him at Media Day, why are you going to be right about D'Angelo Russell making a big impact on this team? What did you see in this game that proves you right that D'Angelo Russell will make a big impact on this team?
Sorry, my dog is snoring asleep next to me. I'm like, is that picking up on the mic right now?
Your what?
Dogs.
I don't have 5 of them.
Dogs. All of us. All 5.
All 5. No, I mean, I've said early on, as soon as they signed D'Lo, I was like, I think the average Mavs fan is going to be surprised by his passing, and he's a really good passer, and just the playmaking. We've seen him. We know he can score. He's one of the natural. Some guys are just natural scorers. You put him in a pickup game, you put him in an open run in a gym, he's going to put up 50 in a game if he wants to. But it's the playmaking and passing that I think is underrated about him. And you saw some of that in Minnesota. You obviously saw some of that in LA. But his mentality, mindset coming into this situation, to run the show and to, Kid talked about him post game. This has been one of the most talked about players since training camp started, right? I mean, we've got multiple quotes from players, from Kid, just talking about how good he's been in camp. Yeah. And you saw it tonight of just how he's setting guys up, not just the flashy passes. He had some of those tonight. He hit Max Christie on a backdoor cut. Christie mentioned post game tonight about his chemistry with D'Lo and playing with him, and D'Lo knowing, getting in transition with him. I just think we're going to see, we mentioned like his assist numbers and stuff. I think we're just going to see this playmaking version of D'Lo, and he's really smart with the ball in his hands when he's facilitating like that in like a floor general type of role compared to when a whole offense is just on his back. So yeah, I thought you saw that multiple times tonight with different guys. Oop, backdoor cut, swinging the ball around. He just was always making the right pass.
If you get him the ball in transition, if they're going to make stops and you get the ball to him in some way, if somebody dribbles the ball up, find him, he's going to find the open guy. Like you said, it happened multiple times. He hit Dereck Lively for a running dunk. He hit that no look to Max Christie in transition. Just another, like both of those passes, no looks where he just completely looked off the defense. That just shows like the type of player the Mavericks have needed. Like they definitely needed a guy like that. That can be a connector, and Cooper Flagg's going to be that. He's a connector star. Like that's going to be the thing that gets him to the next level. And D'Angelo Russell is that as a guard. The Mavericks have really, really needed that. He hit a 3-2, which is big. It's the like slow down and really have to break down a defense in the half court is the thing that I'll be watching going forward. But
this was C squad from OKC, so it's not. I'm not trying to sit here and have these huge takeaways from each one of these guys. But you saw the flow of it. You saw the system. You saw the role that they want for D'Lo and setting some of these guys up and all of that to where whoever the opponent was out there, you still saw the flow of it and what they were trying to do on offense. And it feels like if that continues, I'll be looking forward to some of the like national media tweets out there that's like, oh man, I think I overthought this D'Lo fit in Dallas. Like it's kind of working right now.
It feels a little Kyrie Irving-ish, like when Kyrie...
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, we totally wrote this guy off, but then we saw it on the court, and he's been fine, and he's been raved about as a veteran and as like a leader as well.
Like I think there's a difference between like Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and some of these guys talking about him because they played with him, and it's like they have this relationship with him. But to have Cooper Flagg talk about him and like the impact and stuff that he's had on him and how he's teaching him things and all of that, I think that's notable.
It's funny. You're like, we're not trying to take big takeaways from this. Our takeaway was that D'Lo's passing is good. Is that okay? Is that enough of a?
No, I could just see somebody like, all right, come on. He had guys that we've never heard of before, and to the other way with that is he could have honestly just try to break those guys down and get to the bucket whenever he wanted, probably against some of these guys that's never going to be in a rotation for OKC. But it was more about running this offense and, movement and everything.
I mean, we saw Jaden Hardy do that in the second half.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah.
Max Christie, I thought, also made a big impact in this game. Played just about 15 minutes like everybody else did, but he had 12 points. Almost led the Mavericks. PJ finished with 14 points. I did not see that coming. He had 3 assists as well. But Max Christie's cutting was the thing that really stood out to me. The Mavericks had talked about this new offense and talked about off-ball movement, and he had like 3 or 4 cuts where he just beat his defender backdoor, beat his defender to the basket, off the corner, the top of the key. It was like everywhere. And maybe it was just because he's playing against inexperienced guys, but if Max Christie is going to do that, like Jason Kidd said it the other day, he's going to make a big impact on this team if he can play both ends of the ball in that way and make an impact by moving around and having multiple guys that can get him the ball.
Yeah, somebody post-game asked Kidd specifically about Christie, and Kidd kind of like chuckles a little bit, and he's like, he's in shape, isn't he? He's ready to play. And he just talked about how good shape he's in and just how aggressive he was with the ball. And I think it was Noah who asked Max when Max came out for his questions about his offseason and stuff. And he says, he's like, I want to be one of the best defenders in the league, and I feel like you got to be in elite conditioning to be able to do that. And So he said he did focus on that a lot, and said he one of the areas he wanted to take a leap in was his playmaking and creation and stuff. And he didn't say this, but I would say he probably saw how last season ended, and he was asked to do more things because of the injuries and stuff. And it got kind of rocky for him. And we're kind of like, what is Max Christie? And he probably saw that. And he's like, all right, I got to work on this offseason. And he's the one who said tonight, and I think this is one of the things we've been talking about a lot, but he kind of revealed a goal for the team. And he said in training camp, they set the goal of being a top 3 defensive team this year.
Okay.
And now he said that multiple times. He said that to me when I asked him a question. He said that to Noah too. But yeah, top 3 defensive team. This is one of their goals. So this is something we got to remember this, and this is something we'll track throughout the season. That's their goal for this year. Obviously, they would like to be 1, but yeah, top 3 is what they set.
You think they'd be happy if they were 2 as well, or just 3?
I don't know, 3 or 1.
Would they be happy if they were 2, or would they be disappointed if they didn't?
I mean, it was just a few days ago.
Actually, just 1, and then they're just gonna be disappointed if they get 2 or 3.
Well, a few days ago, I mean, I was on here like, all right, we gotta expect top 10, right?
The Mavs
I was like,
no,
but I want top 5, and their goal is top 3.
The Mavs 2-upped you. They went from 5 to 3.
Let's go.
Hey, we'll hold them to that. Coming up, what did we learn about the rotation? Some things. Tell you what those are. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money is there when you have all kinds of different things going on. Mavs season is back. There's going to be games. You're going to be watching them, and you're going to be spending money on food like DoorDash and all kinds of things like that. You're going to keep track of that stuff because it can pile up, and you don't realize how much you spend on some things. And Monarch Money can help you. If you're not a spreadsheet person, like you can't sit down and just like put everything in a spreadsheet. I am that kind of person. But if you're not, Monarch Money is for you because they have all kinds of different charts. They're color coded, which is awesome. And all you have to do is connect all your different financial accounts and like your, savings account, your credit cards, all that kind of stuff. It keeps it all in one spot so that you can see everything right in front of you. It shows you a bunch of charts on how you spend your money, and it helps you be smarter. It gives you tips as well on the side. I've used Monarch Money. It's awesome. It's built for people with busy lives. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. It's all one word, LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with that code LOCKEDONNBA.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
You know what I mean? I still, DP still in here. So I just seen all.
All right, Isaac, we're talking about the Mavs win in preseason. Dwight Powell played a big role. Came out in the first quarter. And he
Shout
got
out
hit.
to Eddie Sefko asking a Dwight Powell question post-game. I just loved it so much. Yeah. It was
Dwight
good.
got hit in the nuts so hard on 2 different plays.
Oh, my gosh.
We may need to change the counter because from getting hit in the face to getting hit below the belt because, man, like need right in there, like on a block.
I was just say, keep it there. We know kids listen to the show. So, no
I
go
don't
to
always tell you guys the truth.
No, but yeah, Dwight Powell came in. What did we learn about the rotation? The starting lineup, D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively. Who called that?
I was going to say something. I was going to say, we learned that Hardy was the first guard off the bench.
He was the first guard off the bench.
He was.
But Dennis Smith Jr., Brandon Williams, and Dante Exum didn't play. So I'm not going to say I learned anything by saying that Hardy
We don't know why
guard.
Dennis didn't play, by the way. He didn't really say pregame.
Well,
why,
we don't know why Caleb Martin didn't play either. He was I don't even think could you call him a late scratch? He didn't suit up. So it's like they knew he wasn't going to play, but Kid didn't say anything about it beforehand, and he mentioned all the other injuries. So I don't know.
Anyway,
why
talk about the starting unit again. I forgot what did you ask?
The starting lineup was D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively. Who called that starting lineup?
I don't know. Did you?
We did. This is
No. I mean, this is one we've been talking about a lot.
this was the one we predicted that they would go with.
That's true. Yeah, we have.
I was trying to give us credit.
I was like, David Locke.
Yeah, I think this is the most well-rounded starting lineup they can come up with. They obviously have to start Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg. Like, those were the spots when Jason Kidd in training camp was like, there are spots that are locked down and there are spots that are open. I was like, all right, well, Cooper Flagg starting for sure. Anthony Davis starting for sure. And then probably Klay Thompson was the other one that I think he thought was a lock, because I don't think Klay's coming off the bench for this team.
Yeah, that's why I've been pretty confident Klay is going to start.
And then one of the centers is going to start because Anthony Davis wants to be a 4. So then you're like, all right, well, then your only option is D'Angelo Russell. And the only other guard that played, Jaden Hardy and Ryan Nembhard. So you're like, all right, well, we're going to D'Angelo Russell. Like, this was the lineup that made the most sense to me. They didn't put PJ Washington in there like we thought maybe they could. I guess maybe Max Christie over Klay Thompson, but I didn't even think that was a possibility. So this is the starting 5 that made the most sense.
Yeah, you saw some spacing stuff with Klay out there. It's just the gravity that Klay has out there with that unit. Obviously saw PJ come off the bench, but then they just tried a bunch of things. I mean, they were trying all kinds of, this is what kids talking about, trying so many different lineups. There's no Gafford in this game, so Dwight came in pretty quick as like the backup big at one point, or like
4 minutes in. Do you think that's the Gafford spot where he's going to bring him in?
Yeah. So probably expect Gafford in that. We had a stretch in the second quarter to where Max was in there for Cooper for a bit.
Yeah.
And so saw that lineup, and it's just a bunch of different stuff. And so I expect that for the next game on Saturday, and for Fan Jam on Friday.
Well, they'll be split. They'll be split in 2 teams, so we won't see anything about the rotation there because, we got to be serious about it.
I'm going to have to miss Fan Jam, and I'm pretty bummed about it, so I'm going to need a breakdown. I need a box score. If y'all can get me a box score for Fan Jam, I need some big takeaways.
This is Isaac about Fan Jam.
I have to apologize that you
felt that I should have cared about Fan Jam.
Here's my only thing. I think Fan Jam is a lot of fun for fans, and it's I wouldn't cancel Fan Jam like if I was over this. I think it's great. My whole issue was years ago. Years ago, there was a Fan Jam, and then there was, multiple people in the Mavs sphere that was pulling takeaways from it of some different players and rotation stuff. I was like, all right, I'm done with it. Get me away from this. This is just for fun for fans and all this stuff. That was a Fan Jam was the very first thing I ever went to for a Mavs thing. I was visiting Dallas for the very first time. This was like 15 years ago.
Are you saying Fan Jam made you want to move to Dallas?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is a seminal moment in your life is Fan Jam, and you're throwing it away. This is like a monument in your life.
Fan Jam allowed me to meet Vince Carter and get his autograph.
That's big. That's your guy. That's like your favorite player ever.
I know. I got Dirk's autograph too, but at the time I was like,
how is Dirk's autograph like the also in this?
Vince is my favorite basketball player ever.
It's true. It's a big deal for you.
Anyway, I met OJ Mayo too.
Which OJ?
Chris Kaman.
Chris Kaman, that's a good one.
Elton Brand.
The guys off the bench played a lot in the second half. I don't know that I saw much that inspired me from anybody.
I have nothing about the fourth quarter. Careless.
Jaden
Hardy, keep chucking, bro.
That was a tough watch. It was good to see Dereck Lively running the floor, defending the rim.
Yes, and Lively's passing is so underrated. We're going to see there's so much. I wrote down different notes during the game, and one of the things I put at the top was just the playmaking with the bigs at the top it's going to be so different with this team that they're going to get the ball to AD, get the ball to Lively. Lively is a really good passer and hitting these guys, cutting to the basket and different things. Like that it changes so much when your bigs can pass as well as they do. And we also saw a few ways of how they're going to get the ball to AD. There was one play I wrote down. Lively had the ball at the top of the key. They had AD in the corner. They had a guy kind of around the free throw line, and he goes and sets the screen on AD's guy. And then, it's kind of like this back screen. AD then has this decision based off the defender, the switching defender. Does he go under the basket and try to get like the ball right underneath the basket? And it's a hard pass from Lively straight to the basket, or does he go the other way and catches the ball at like the elbow? And that time he came off the screen, caught the ball at the elbow, and then he goes to work. And then it's like, all right, now do your thing. And that's just like one example of how they're going to get the ball and run an offense through like a Sabonis type of guy, of how they can get AD. It's not get the ball to AD and then he backs himself down to, at the elbow. It's get him coming off an action, a screen, he catches the ball in that spot. And then it's just kind of like, all right, now you decide what you're going to do from there. And so you saw different stuff like that. No matter to the defender out there, you saw some things tonight of like how they're going to run some offense and stuff.
I also think that the big man at the top of the key, like being the hub, like we talked about the Anthony Davis as the Sabonis role. That actually adds spacing to your team because the defender can't leave that guy because there's going to be a screen and all of a sudden the guard is going to be completely wide open. There was a moment you mentioned that Lively was hitting some guys off cuts. There was one where Lively was at the top of the key, like not at the elbow, not at the free throw line, at the top of the key, like all the way to the top of the 3-point line. And Max Christie cut like straight to the basket, and Dereck Lively was able to hit him for that because the defender couldn't leave him, because if he leaves him, then all of a sudden Lively sets a screen on Max's man. Max gets a wide open 3 off of that. Like that adds spacing to a team where you may not get spacing off of a big if he's going to stand there and hope that he gets a shot from 3-point, right? Like we didn't see any we didn't see Dereck Lively threes tonight. So I was here, which I was upset about.
He's saving them.
But that can add spacing if you're going to use that big as the hub at the top of the key or somewhere. And so I think that these little things here and there can help spread out an offense, which is what the Mavericks need.
And AD's going to get his 3-point attempts. You saw different times tonight. They're kind of just sagging off on him, and honestly, you don't blame him, right? Like a guy like AD, you don't want him catching the ball around the basket, and so if he's willing to settle for a 3-pointer, 25 feet from the basket, then you're probably like opposing coaches are like, all right, we can kind of like live with that, especially in pass percentages. This is where he's got to improve on that and have a really efficient season shooting from 3. And because I think he's going to get, a decent amount of threes per game if he wants them.
Well, in the preseason, he's shooting 50% from threes. So
huge takeaway. I think he's going to make the jump from 34. So 34 to 50 is, I didn't even expect that.
50 would be nuts. Who was, Richardson. Oh my God. Richardson. What was his? Oh my God.
Jason?
No, the
Josh
Richardson. Remember Josh Richardson shot like 55% in preseason.
Oh, in the preseason,
yeah. We were like, he's the 3-and-D guy the Mavs have been waiting for.
Yeah. He was gone.
It was supposed to be
dogs. All of us.
It was supposed to be.
I don't even know if Josh is in the league anymore.
It's supposed to be dogs. Where is Josh Richardson? Did you see that Victor Oladipo was playing for that Chinese team that was playing the Spurs tonight?
Dude, yes. It's crazy.
All right, there you go. That's our thoughts on the Mavs preseason game. We'll have more stuff tomorrow. We'll break more down.
Becca, this is a lot of great things about the Mavs. So this podcast episode was just for you, Becca.
Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.